Welcome in this new tutorial. Today I'm going to talk about chain of thought prompting and why it's important. I've prepared an AI assistant or assisted presentation on chain of thought. We are just going to see some points of this. What is chain of thought? What is, in my opinion, most interesting is the use cases and so let's jump in. So chain of thought is a technique in artificial intelligence where prompts are structured to encourage models to generate responses that reflect a logical sequence of reasoning. So you can imagine that you have a problem, and in order to solve the problem, you need a sequence of reasoning to solve these. Um, it is significant since when you incorporate a chain of thought prompting into some use cases, it allows for robust reasoning capabilities without, let's say, for example, skipping some important parts, etc. Um, so this improves the response quality, and of course, it enables to tackle, so to say, hidden tasks, for example. And so let's explain the concept. This is the technique of chain of thought prompting involves breaking down complex tasks into smaller manageable steps, allowing AI models to systematically process information. This results in a more thorough exploration of ideas and enhances the depth of the answers generating. So this is actually self-explaining, and once you have understood the concept, you can go further with the rest. Um, so this is the mechanism is pretty straightforward. It it is there to activate the model's internal reasoning pathways. It triggers the model into thinking into steps, um, and this leads to the logical progression of the thought. Um, so this facilitates the clearer decision-making process within the model. If you compare it with traditional prompting, um, actually, with traditional prompting, we will see some examples later on. Um, the traditional prompting is very goal oriented, and sometimes it misses the steps behind in order to get to that results. And this is sometimes very bad if you skip these steps, especially if you explain some code or something like that, etc. So the traditional prompts trend to elicit direct responses based on surface levels puts without elaborative reasoning. In contrast to this, the chain of thought prompting fosters a deeper, multi-step analytical approach, which improves, of course, the quality. Um, why it is important? It enhances reasoning capabilities, it improves the accuracy of the responses, and it facilitates complex problem solving. Right, so it just decomplicates model problems into sub problems, or decomposes problems into sub problems, and this leads to simplification of the steps. Use cases multiple. The most important ones are complex decision making, in order to um, whenever you have a problem where you do deal with pros and cons, it can assist you in that way, into breaking the problem into sub problems down, and of course into making a significant, or at least an explained decision. And this is actually also a topic of explainable AI, or kind of how I mean, one of the topics regarding how to make AI explainable is to explain how the result came into life. But of course, explainable AI is something bigger. It even includes the weights and the data used for training. But this is another topic. But in, in some to some extent, this reminds a little bit of explainable AI. And then, of course, you have the mathematical problem solving. If you have some something to guess, which is a mathematical problem, it's usually helpful to decompose the problem into some smaller steps. Natural language pro understanding, yeah, so you can make things easier, let's say named entity recognition or reference resolution using LLMs is usually not a straightforward task. So with chain of thought, the results can be improved, of course. So you can use this in educational tools. This is a very good technique in order to explain things, and hence the educational problem. You can also use this in customer support automation, data analysis and reporting, strategic decision making, etc. You can be with chain of thought prompting creative into generating stories, content creation. You can also expand your ideas whenever you have some, let's say, design thinking workshops or something like that. Chain of thought can be a very good assistant in that case. Um, yeah, so the complexity is of chain of thought is, of course, complexity in implementation, and you sometimes do need some extensive training data, or you need some examples with prompt engineering. This guides us or leads us to go to the next link. And here we are consulting the prompt engineering guide, which is a very well known guide regarding prompt engineering. I always recommend visiting this. So, in order to avoid the dataset problem, usually prompting or prompt techniques, as we have seen in the latest video. If you haven't seen the video yet, you can just check it. I will put the link of the previous video down in the description below. Here you can just try to understand again the basics of what is standard prompting, what is zero shot, what is one shot, and what is few shot. Um, then you can notice, let's compare the two examples we have for the model input. Here, Roger has 5 tennis balls. He buys 2 more cans of tennis balls. Each can has 3 tennis balls. How many tennis balls does he have now? The answer in this example is 11. Then he wants to guide. I mean, this is one shot example, and this is trying to guide the model in order to be able to answer the same way the second question. So the cafeteria has 23 apples. If they used 20 to make lunch and brought on board 6 more, how many apples do they have? And the answer is 27. And here the reasoning component is missing. And then what he does is that he tries to make it explained using a chain of thought process in a textual format. This is as simple as that. So he then changes the answer to guide the model again and says Roger started with 5 balls, 2 cans of 3 tennis balls, each is 6 tennis balls, and then 5 plus 6 equals 11. And then he gets to the answer, and here this is the interesting part. And the author of this example example claims that this is the result. It depends, of course, on what model he has or she has used, etc. Yeah, so this is also an example of zero-shot chain of thought prompting. Yeah, so this is another, you can call it zero-shot chain of thought prompting. You can interpret it in another way. So it's up to you how you want to call it. I would. It depends also on the authors of these papers here down. It depends exactly what they see that, how they see that. If we can really talk about zero-shot chain of thought prompting, this is not a chain of thought prompting anyway. So, but yeah, so this is how they have called it in this case. We will not talk about automatic chain of thought here, but then just let's try to use an example of theirs and see how this works. So for this, we will use ChatGPT again. And then here the user query should be use the example below in order to be able to answer my query. And here the question example, the question that I've already prepared here is then taken from the prompt engineering guide example with Roger's example, and the answer should be like this. What I'm adding is, of course, the instructions here and the mention of example, because I prefer to be as precise as possible with whatever LLM I'm using. Follow the example above to answer my query, and then let's see what it outputs. So, so let's just test this out. Using for O, of course. And here we got a network error. Let's try again. I would just either copy and paste or, yeah. So the juggler can juggle 16 balls. So this is actually, this is the result. This is not bad at all, what it gave. So 16 divided by 2 gives ace, 8 golf balls. Half of the golf balls are blue, which is 4. So yeah, so this is pretty much the answer that we got. So this is it with this video. I hope you liked the examples, the explanation. Of course, here we have seen also the examples, the use cases, which is pretty important to know, especially to know when to use this, because you can't just go and say, hey, I want to use chain of thought because this is something cool. You would be probably, losing and wasting time. And otherwise, if you have questions, if you have remarks, propositions, whatever, please comment, write something in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, just do that. Hit the subscribe button and that like button so that the video can reach the maximum number it could reach. And of course, until the next video, happy learning.